Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. We're watching a clip of First Take, talking about the Cowboys and the Eagles, and who do we trust more, and is Dak Prescott better than Jalen Hurts? Apparently a lot of random, absurd opinions are being thrown around in this clip. I haven't watched it, but I saw a few quotes here and there as I was trying to bring it up. So let's just jump right into it and take a listen to see what they have to say, and we could break it down from there.
Defensive back C.J. Gardner-Johnson and former division rival Saquon Barkley, whose daughter is pretty excited for the change in culture. Take a listen to this.
When I told her that we're going to be going to Philly, she kind of was just like, does that mean we're going to win now? And I just started smiling again. And I was like, hopefully we can win some more games.
Mina, before we get into the question, just your reaction to Saquon's daughter right there.
I mean, she knows ball. Where is the lie? She nailed it. Happy for him. Happy for her. Happy for Saquon.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, Stephen A., tell me this. Do you have more faith in Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts?
Is that a trick question? Why the hell would I have more faith in Dak Prescott over Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts just got Saquon. Jalen Hurts still got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. And an offensive line that I would dare challenge is better than the Dallas Cowboys. Why on earth would I have an issue with Jalen Hurts, thinking that Jalen Hurts wouldn't be considered better off and having a reason to have more faith in Hurts rather than Dak Prescott? Of course I'm going to pick Jalen Hurts in this particular question, Mina, without question.
Why would you pick Dak Prescott? Because he played significantly better than Jalen Hurts last season would be my answer.
Okay, your answer would be a stupid answer, because as I've said repeatedly, they played well against bad teams. All the good teams they lost to, okay, or they sneaked on by with the win. So that's just absurd. Jalen Hurts was injured, had a terrible OC who got fired, who will probably, I don't know how long he's going to last in the league again. I forget, I think he got signed somewhere. Like this idea that just because he had this bad year, which wasn't even that terrible relatively speaking, but the dude's knee was jacked up. I mean, you saw after every play just the way he walked. The offense, no one was ever open. I mean, it was insane. Out of all those weapons that he had, no one was ever open. The offense was run like an absolute clown show, and that's not all on Jalen Hurts' problem. Not to mention, though, Jalen Hurts won 14 consecutive games against teams with winning records, okay? Dak Prescott, on the other hand, has a losing record against winning teams. So this idea that it's even a question is so silly and so absurd. Dak Prescott has done nothing in the playoffs in his entire career. Jalen Hurts has the same amount of wins than Dak does in one season in a playoff round than Dak has in his entire career. So it's just comical. Jalen Hurts actually balled out in a Super Bowl against the dynasty of the Kansas City Chiefs. He balled out, okay? He essentially outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, okay? Put the Eagles on his back. On his back. And you want to say that you trust Dak Prescott more? Who gets blown out at home in a wild card round against the Packers, against the youngest team since like 1950 or whatever? I mean, like, get the heck out of here. That is so comically absurd. God, it's just stupid takes are stupid takes.
I mean, by any stretch of the imagination, okay. Dak Prescott, second in passer rating. Jalen Hurts, 20th. Dak Prescott, second in QBR. Jalen Hurts, 12th. Dak Prescott, second in completion percentage. Jalen Hurts, 15th. Jalen Hurts struggled greatly against the blitz, which of course kind of proved to be their undoing in the postseason we saw against Tampa Bay. Look, I do think Jalen can rebound from what we saw last season. I think he is a better quarterback than the one we saw for really much of the season, but particularly in the second half. However, Dak Prescott played quarterback at such a higher level than Jalen. Yes, the Eagles have a better offensive line, even with the loss of Jason Kelce. But last I checked, the Cowboys still have CeeDee Lamb, who is one of the best receivers in the NFL. I think this offense will be fine.
I am really, I've always enjoyed Mina on the show. And I enjoy her on the air.
I like it.
But I'm starting to enjoy
terrible.
you so much more because you're trying to get slick now. And I love folks who are trying to get slick on first take. Way to go. Because let me tell you something. I noticed how you left out how Jalen Hurts, I mean, you got Sirianni that lost both coordinators. Obviously, you're coming into last season. Things weren't the same. You weren't 100% healthy. You got injured, particularly against the Jets. You were hobbled throughout the second half of the season. But you left that stuff out, Mina. You left that stuff out. And I'm looking at Dak Prescott. And, oh, by the way, Dak Prescott, Mr. McCarthy, you just lied to Jerry Jones, lied to Jerry and Stephen Jones. I want to run the football more. I want to run the football more, okay? That's why you need to get rid of Kellen Moore. And then the minute Kellen Moore goes out the door, you ran the football every bit as much as he did. I'm just looking at all of those things. But here's what I love. They now have Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator in Philadelphia last time I checked. Okay, and I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking about the weapons that they have available to them, and I'm saying to myself, excuse me, I expect this year to be better than last year. I expect Dak Prescott to go this way. I don't expect Jalen Hurts to go that way. That's where I'm at.
If the question was who is in a better situation, I might pick Jalen Hurts. Although I am confident somewhere in the First Take archives, there's probably a video of you, Stephen A., questioning the skills of Kellen Moore, who's their new offensive coordinator.
Yes, you are right.
The question was who do you have more faith in? I'm gonna, on Kellen Moore. I am going to go with the quarterback who played significantly better last season.
Again, you're just so stupid. He played significantly better against teams that were garbage and trash with an established head coach who went to the Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl, who was essentially his OC at that point, McCarthy, compared to Jalen Hurts, who had a brand new OC, who got fired, who was an absolute disaster, okay, who injured his knee, had to wear a knee brace and was hobbled. If you watched any Eagles game, it was painful to watch because he could literally barely walk, and Jalen Hurts had no one to throw to. I mean, and every time he did throw the ball to someone, they just got tackled immediately. So this idea is comically absurd. It's comically absurd. And just because you have this one down year under very specific circumstances, after losing Shane Steichen, who's an unbelievable OC, after losing the Super Bowl, okay, actually making a Super Bowl, after balling out in a Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts played better in the Super Bowl than Dak Prescott has ever played in a single game. Jalen Hurts played an unbelievably amazing game at the Super Bowl, at the highest level in football, okay? And you want to point to, Dak Prescott balling out against the Arizona Cardinals or the New York Giants? Like, it's so stupid that you let those numbers inflate the rest of the stats. Look at Dak's numbers against winning teams that are actually competent, teams that actually have good defenses. He's bad. He's completely mediocre and average, okay? 100%. So it's just such a stupid take. I'm not even a Dak hater. I'm really not. I'm genuinely not. I said Dak Prescott would have won a Super Bowl if he was the coach, if he was the quarterback with the 49ers. I said that. So I'm not a Dak hater here. I think Dak is a more than competent QB. But let's stop pretending like Dak Prescott is this Superman. I mean, this is so absurd. You want to say he's the second in this and second in that and third in this and first in this. He is unbelievable at stacking those numbers against bad teams. And credit to him, it's got him a lot of money. But the dude has like a 400, like a 43% win percentage against teams with a winning record. Okay? Jalen Hurts goes and wins like 14 games in a row against teams with winning records. Okay? He balls out in the Super Bowl when the lights are brightest. A lot of you Cowboys fans say that Dak Prescott's a choke artist. Jalen Hurts didn't choke in the Super Bowl. He led the Eagles right down, in the last few minutes of the Super Bowl, scored a touchdown by himself, and then a 2-point conversion all on himself. He put that team on his back in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs, who many believe have the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. So this idea is just insanity. Utter insanity. It's like it's like to act like that they're even on the same level is comical just because Jalen Hurts didn't have this great year, this great season, this past season when he was legitimately injured. I mean, his knee was jacked up. Okay? I mean, it absolutely positively was. Even Nick Wright, super Chiefs fan, admits that, and says Jalen Hurts was clearly not right. And he never wants to give the Eagles any type of excuse whatsoever. So to deny that and to deny that it was a clown show with their OC and their DC firing both of them is just like that's obviously a disaster. And when you rely on your OC, the OC, especially if you don't have a true offensive head coach and the play caller, right, who Nick Sirianni isn't, your OC is everything. Everything. And he was so bad that he didn't even last the season. And yet you wanted Jalen Hurts to be able to ball out and overcome all that? Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be able to overcome that. Joe Burrow wouldn't be able to overcome that. Tom Brady wouldn't be able to overcome that, especially earlier on in their careers. All right? Josh Allen can't overcome that. And yet you want Jalen Hurts to overcome that? Get out of here. And say what you will about McCarthy. He might not be a GOAT coach, but he's obviously capable of winning. He's been incredibly successful over the years and years and years and years and years that he's been coaching football. He's obviously not a complete scrub. So this idea is just absurd. Not to mention the Eagles had one of the hardest schedules in the NFL because they went to say it with me, a Super Bowl, while the Dallas Cowboys had one of the easiest schedules. Just beating up on terrible teams. Okay? They beat 2 teams with a winning record. One of those teams was the Eagles, who were absolutely failing. So that's, again, congratulations on that one. Especially if you think Jalen Hurts is not that good of a quarterback, then beating them isn't that impressive. And then you beat the Detroit Lions on a freak, awful, terrible penalty by the refs. And even if you don't want to count that, that's fine. They just snuck on by. And then they lost every other game against a winning team. I don't know what to tell you. And then you got blown out. You got demolished in one of the most embarrassing losses at home against the Packers in the wild card round against a young team, against a Jordan Love. Jordan who? Against your head coach's ex-team. You think there would be some incentive to win and beat up on them? And yet Dak Prescott's eyes were wide the whole time. I don't say that Dak Prescott choked, as I just made a video the other day saying that I don't think he choked, but his eyes were definitely wide the whole time. He was like this the whole time. Well, Jalen Hurts is just calm, cool, and collected. So, it's tough to listen to certain opinions like this because, I don't even want to bash Dak Prescott. I really don't. Because I actually genuinely like Dak. I really, really do. And I wouldn't mind having him as the quarterback of my team. I really wouldn't. But I don't pretend that Dak is something that he's not. Okay? I don't come over here and say that Kirk Cousins is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And Dak Prescott is Kirk Cousins. That is who he is. Okay? He is a good quarterback. He can get the job done. He needs weapons around him. You can't say, Dak, put us on your back and get us go get us a win. He needs to have a good OC. He needs to have a good head coach. He needs good circumstances, as many quarterbacks do. I'm not telling you that Jalen Hurts can just go out there with the Carolina Panthers and get to a Super Bowl. I'm not claiming that. But if you're talking about trust, who do you trust? Because that's what the question was. Who do you have more faith in? How can you not have more faith in the quarterback that balled out in a Super Bowl compared to the quarterback who can't even get to an NFC Championship game? Gets blown out in a wild card game at home with plenty of weapons. Who played terrible. People want to blame the defense. His offense was terrible. Okay? The one, you got a last minute score at the first half. Otherwise you were getting, zeroed up there. And it should have been called back when they went back to it. I forget exactly what the penalty was, but it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't even been a touchdown. But regardless, you got you were being blown out. What was it? 27-7? I forget what the score was at this point. 28-7, whatever the heck it was. It was insane. And then you were able to finally get some points after when the Packers were just playing prevent defense. Where they were just saying, okay, fine, you can score whatever. We got this game won. The final score was misleading. They were down by like 100. So get out of here. Get out of here with that absolute nonsense. Dak Prescott has won nothing. Nothing. He's won nothing. That's just my rant about this. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on this one. Please let me know in the comments below whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, I read all the comments, so let's get into some discussions, let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing, as we are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.